Welcome back to day 3. Are you ready to turn on this instant connection? I like to call it the win-win. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude. And that's from Colin Powell. I truly believe that whenever we have a great attitude, we have control of our mind, control of our thoughts, and we focus on all the things that are good, we can move forward in a good way in life. But if we focus on all the challenges, everything that we don't like, we are simply held back from achieving that excellence that we truly desire. There is a saying, and it says, you can catch a lot more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. And that's like, yes, of course you can. And it's the same thing when it comes to people. You can catch a lot more friends with honey rather than vinegar, because whenever you have a bad attitude, nobody wants to be around you. But guess what? That also pertains to your spouse, that person you live with all the time. Now, you can't control what they do. You can only control what you do. And remember, you go first. And that's what we're working through in this 5-day challenge. I want you to stop and think about mentors, people that you have learned from, that you appreciate, that you respect. What is it that makes you remember them so very fondly? Did they call out your great qualities? Did they respect you? Did they help you learn more and gain confidence in yourself? I bet all of those things are true because we truly appreciate those people who lift us up and move us forward. It might have been a coach. It might have been a Sunday school teacher, a teacher at school, your piano teacher, whoever. But we all have those mentors who make us feel good about ourselves and who help us gain confidence and help us move forward. And when it comes to our spouses, we want to be just that to one another. We want to lift one another up and make them feel important each and every day. I worked with Mary Kay Cosmetics for many, many years. And one of the main things that Mary Kay Ash said all the time, and it pertains to everyone, your spouse, your kids, your friends, people you meet whenever you're out and about shopping. And that is, everyone has a sign around their neck that says, make me feel important. True, isn't it? Everybody has a sign around their neck that says, make me feel important. And those are the people that we listen to because they first made us feel important. And then we listened and then we followed. So the same thing goes for you and your spouse. Now, you can't get them to listen to you, but you can first listen to them and respect them. And hopefully they will follow. Gratitude is the little thing that makes a very big difference. And that is part of our win-win today. It is learning to be thankful for each and everything and to focus on all things that are good, to have gratitude. And so whenever you show your spouse, thank you, honey, for doing this. Thank you, honey, for doing that. Wow, I really appreciate it when you do this or that. We all have things that we're good at, and we all have things that we're not so good at. And so if we can learn to focus on those good things, it certainly gives us much better vibes than when we focus on the things that irritate us, right? So let's go back to that. You can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Well, whenever my kids were small, and even whenever I was a kid, when I was a kid, I think probably the first words that, I probably said was the word no. And whenever my kids came along, their first word was no. Why would that be? Because when we have little children, we constantly say, no, 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 don't do that, right? Well, here's what I learned through all of my years of leadership, my courses and my studies with John Maxwell, and the books and the hours of education through the years. I have learned that When you focus on the positive thing, the thing that you want from the person, you are more likely to get it. For example, when a little kid is running down the driveway, we automatically say, "Stop running, you're gonna fall." Think about that. We just projected on them that they're gonna fall down and skin their knee, and half the time they do. But if we can say, "Susie, walk." I started to say stop running just then. "Susie, slow down and walk." And I tell them what I want them to do instead of criticizing what they're doing and telling them not to do. And this happens to be good in many, many ways. Like, you're talking to your child and they're lying to you. And you're like, "I need you to stop lying about everything. I'm not going to believe anything you say if you keep lying to me." Instead, you say, "Johnny, I need you to tell me the truth. If you want me to listen to you and believe you next time, you must tell me the truth." It's like telling you what I want instead of what I don't want. I could even use an example in choir practice. Whenever we're singing, if we have done something wrong while practicing the music, and you repeat to me what I did wrong, I'm going to do it again because that's what I just heard. But if you repeat to me how I'm supposed to sing that part, then I'm going to repeat that because it's the last thing that I heard. So do you get that? And it's something that you have to stop and practice to do because we are used to saying what we don't want instead of saying what we do want. So learn to look at what is positive and focus on what you want in life. What do you want your spouse to do? And there again, have gratitude, appreciation, compliment what you want to see more of. Remember, they have that sign around their neck that says, "Make me feel important." Because I know that's true that you also have that sign around your neck and you're thinking, "I want my spouse to think I'm important." Remember, we talked about our mentors earlier and how they made us feel good about ourselves. When we make someone feel good about themselves, they start to listen to us more. So, see that big red dot in the middle? All things are focused towards that red dot. I want you to think about that being the good, the positive, using gratitude, using appreciation. But then I want you to also think about this. Each and every one of us has a natural self and an adapted self. And I teach this in my communication class called Communication Secrets for Spouses. It helps you learn to understand yourself and to understand your spouse so that you can appreciate them more. You can appreciate where they're talented and appreciate their good qualities whenever you understand these things. But what it means is our natural self is that usual self at home. We all show our natural self at home, right? And then we have our adapted self when we go out into public. And we know where the things are that irritate our spouse, or the things where we're not nice. Maybe we get angry very fast, or maybe we're very critical. Maybe we're not real responsible or not real organized. There's all kinds of different things, right? And we don't want to show that self when we're out in public. So we have an adapted self when we're out in public. Literally, you change up how you react at work according to your boss, according to your team at work. So sometimes people are actually in jobs that are not their are in their natural talents, and they have to adapt to that. For instance, some people are very much people persons. They love being around people. And some people like to work all alone and be by themselves. Well, if you take that person who likes to be by themselves and you put them in a job where they're answering to people all day long, they are exhausted at the end of the day. And you can also reverse that. You take a people person, and when you put them in a job where they're in a cubicle by themselves, not talking to anyone all day long, they're exhausted all day because they need to be around people. So learning to understand what your natural self is and your adaptive self helps you have a little more patience with your spouse. But we want to learn to focus on all the things that are good, right? And when that doesn't happen, there is conflict. There is frustration, and you know what? That happens in every relationship. But when you can learn some of the different things that help you get along better so that you're not irritated with one another, you can dissolve part of that conflict. And then you can help one another. And you can reach out and help one another instead of having that conflict. So all this week, we are thinking about learning to listen better, to use gratitude, and we've learned about personalities and how our different personalities color everything that we do, and how our energy literally causes us to have a lot of patience or not much patience. Well, tomorrow we're going to do captivating conversations. And then Friday, we're going to open up the gates of communication. The challenge today is let's practice our gratitude, because whatever you practice, whatever you put out there, it gets better and it gets stronger. So I want you to find two things that you'll compliment your spouse on today, because we have to go first, and then do it. It doesn't matter what they do, what they say, just do it, right? And then in the Facebook group, because we will have prizes at the end of the week for everyone who has completed all 5 days of the comments in the Facebook group, I want you to give 2 things that you like about your spouse. How's that for proactivity? I'll see you tomorrow.